Well, hey gang, this is Jonathan again from Tailhunter International down here in La Paz, and we've come to the end of another week, so it's time for your weekly mini video fishing report. Say that one 10 times fast. For the week of August 28th to September 4th, 2016. Let's get right into it. Oh my gosh, what a week we've had. Probably one of the best weeks I can remember in a long time. Tell you what, listen, the tuna bit. We haven't had a tuna bite here in about 2 weeks, but for about 4 days this week, it was like the glory days of Las Arenas. The tuna came on strong, they bit hard. Guys were catching limit, I should say our anglers were catching limits within an hour or two, and these fish were not far out. People talk all the time about wanting to go way out because they want to catch bigger fish. These tuna started out at like 8, 10, 12 pounds. Within a few days, they were running 20, 25 pounders. These were sluggers. These were not little footballs. These were tough fish, and these fish were only about 100 to 200 yards off the beach. It was spectacular. Like I said, we were catching these limits within an hour or two. After that, let's go chase something else. The captains were taking them out to go look for Dorado, billfish, wahoo. Yes, we did find those. There were some days where we got not only the tuna, we got some billfish, we got wahoo, and we got Dorado in the counts. It was some of the most fun fishing that we've had all season. So it was really great. That was the good news. The other side of it was, well, it lasted for about 4 days, and then here's what happened. Well, let me back up just a little bit. Here's the rub about all of this is the tuna were eating the squid. Now, what we've seen historically is we don't get any tuna, but then when these big squid come up from the deep, and usually these are the big, giant Humboldt squid. These are the 10, 20, 30, 40-pound squid that come up. We're able to hook these things, chop them up, use them for bait, and that's how we catch the tuna. But with the El Nino conditions we've had the last couple of years, we haven't seen the squid, and we haven't seen the tuna either. But what we started seeing this week was the tuna that we were catching had little tiny squid within their bellies. In fact, most of the fish that we were catching in the Las Arenas Muertos Bay area had squid in their stomachs. But here's the thing, we can't catch little squid like this. It's not like we can hook a whole bunch of these and then use them for bait. So what we had to do is I had myself and my staff, we were running around the city of La Paz. We were running around the fish markets, the grocery stores, trying to find as much squid as we could. Now, I think this week I think I bought over 200 pounds of blocks, concrete blocks of frozen squid. Then my staff and I were cutting them up, chopping them up, and then packing them and zip-locking them into little bags so we could distribute them to the clients during the day. Now, the tuna didn't always want this. They really wanted the good stuff, but when you don't have anything else, this is what we use, and it was working to some degree, but that's what we had to do to get these fish to bite. Now, we would prefer if we had the little tiny squid, but like I said, we just couldn't get those. But we got some bigger squid, and that was working. Now, this bite lasted for about 4 days, and then it sort of tapered off a little bit. But as it tapered off, the Dorado moved in. So we really haven't had much of a Dorado bite for almost all season over at the Las Arenas Muertos Bay area. But we started getting some small to medium Dorado, which filled in the gaps. Now, as of my recording this, as of Sunday, the tuna look like they've moved a little bit to the south of us, around Punta Pescadero, maybe Boca de Alamo, just a little south of Muertos Bay, because the boats from the East Cape were also finding fish up there. So as of my recording this video fishing report, my boats are out there right now, and my anglers are out there right now looking for these fish a little further south. Hopefully they're going to be hooking these fish and they're going to find the school again. But this was some really exciting fishing. In addition to the tuna, we also saw billfish, we saw Dorado, like I said, and we also saw some wahoo. The story for our La Paz fleet, billfish. Listen, there were so many billfish on the La Paz side this week. I think there were 1 or 2 days where almost every one of our boats got at least 1 or 2 knockdown strikes, hits, hookups on sailfish, striped marlin, blue marlin, black marlin, up to over 400 pounds. Now, most of these fish, the fights did not last long. These are some big fish. Guys really aren't equipped to handle a fish that's 200, 300, 400 pounds. And others, God bless you guys. Thank you for releasing your fish. But a couple fish that could not be released, could not be revived, were kept, and it is legal to keep one of these billfish. So we did get a blue marlin of about 180. We got another of over 200 pounds. We got another close to 250 pounds. These fish were found, not surprisingly, in the same areas that we're finding the very small Dorado, and we're also finding the small bonito. Perfect candy bait, perfect food for these fish. So they're swimming around these schools and they're eating, and as we pass lures through them, they jump on them, but we have not seen this kind of aggression, this kind of hungriness from these billfish all season. So it was a lot of fun for a lot of folks who really wanted to give a shot at these billfish. It was a good opportunity this past week to get into a striper, a blue marlin, black marlin, or a sailfish. So all good news. But the other side of this, Dorado. You know, we really have not had much of a Dorado season, and it started about a week and a half ago. So, you know, this week we did find some more Dorado, and they were some better quality fish. There's still a lot of these 5, 10 pounders around, But listen, we had some 20, we had some 25, we had some 30-pound fish that were hooked and lost, and these are some of the biggest Dorado that we've seen not just this year, but in the last 2 years. We really haven't seen a lot of the larger quality Dorado. But I think as the conditions improve, as this El Nino condition moves off, we're going to see more and more of these Dorado. So that's really, really good news. Inshore, still great fishing, steady fishing for big triggerfish, which is surprising a lot of people. Not only are they tough fighters, they're tough in the rocks, but they're great eating. And as well, we're also seeing Pargo and Cabria, and we also had a Wahoo hookup on this side as well. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen. As I said earlier, we're really keeping an eye on this storm that may come in by Tuesday. We'll keep you informed. But in the meantime, listen, thanks for checking in. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend or had a great holiday weekend. And we're down here in La Paz. Come down and check us out. Take a look at the rest of these photos. Really some great stuff to look at, and we appreciate you checking in. This is Jonathan from Tailhunter International down here in La Paz, Baja, Mexico.